Good morning and welcome to Gulfstream today on an overcast day here in Hollandale Beach. Brian Nadeau with you and happy to welcome back old friend and DRF correspondent Mike Welsh back in town for, as you just said to me, your first weekend since summering up in Saratoga.
Yeah, I've been back a couple of weeks, but I took a week off and just kind of getting back into the swing of things here, although still doing our Clocker Report in New York as well, so keeping a close touch on what goes on there and here.
I have needed many weeks off after a summer in Saratoga, so I don't blame you here. Good to see you back down here. Exciting up there. A lot of our horses, of course, led by Arcangelo, produced very well. He looked good this summer, huh?
Yeah, he certainly did. I mean, I've been a big fan of his even before the Belmont. And, he just carried that over Saratoga. Nobody, believe me, trained any better at Saratoga all summer long, week in and week out, than Arcangelo did. And it's good when they tout themselves like that in the morning and then come back and
run that way.
Produce in the afternoon.
Yeah, without a doubt. And another one of those horses that we saw throughout the winter here at the championship meet. So good to have Mike back here. 11 for you today. The Rainbow Six will kick off in race number 6. And $125,000 in the gross jackpot guarantee. We will blow by that number. It's going to be big pools today with some cancellations on the East Coast. Our sister track at Pimlico, Belmont at Aqueduct as well. So we hope everybody's safe and sound up north. But that's going to yield some very, very big pools today. Not that they wouldn't be anyway on a big Saturday here. And early pick 5 kicks off in race number 1. We'll take a quick look at my ticket now. That pool already about $25,000 and counting. Just a $13.50 ticket for me. I'll single right off the bat in the opener. Not looking to beat Courageous Copper in race number 2. 3 deep there. A little bit of a late scratch in the 6. Are You Single? The top pick is Fumble Rooski, and we'll show you why. In race number 3, my best bet of the day is Eskimo Street, and then a 3x3 double to get out of this sequence. Race number 4, the 7, Gangly, hoping for a little bit of a return to form from Gangly. And in race number 5, the 5, Amori Control, should be very close or on or just off the early pace. $13.50 for me. Let's get to the opener, though. We do scratch out the 1, Midnight Chaos, out of this spot, and he had potential to be some speed, so I think it will help Courageous Copper. But, Mike, you go towards the outside with a Carmar.
Yeah, I didn't really know what to do with this race, and when I actually handicapped it, originally Midnight Chaos was in, and I thought that, the 2 and the 3 might compromise each other a little bit, and I know the 2 was going to be at a short price with the 10-pound bug being replaced by Edgard Zayas, so, but he is going to benefit from that scratch. I took Akamar. He's back with Antonio Sano. He's back where he belongs. The Tapeta's a bit of a question for him, but he ran under once. He ran poorly, but he was totally overmatched coming off a long layoff in that start. I like the turn back from 2 turns to 5.5 furlongs, and I liked it even more when I thought there was going to be a little more pace inside him. But if he could show enough speed just to hang close early, I thought maybe he could kick on and assert his class in here. He broke his maiden for $25,000, and then I don't think anybody else in here could say anything like that other than Bad Bobby, who's also dropping, also turning back in distance. And when there's another horse I like because of what I thought was a potential pace scenario that may not exist now.
Yeah, huge class drop off a couple Naira races for Akamar and Antonio Sano. Courageous Copper certainly going to take a lot of money for Jose D'Angelo. It's kind of the house horse. Ran for 10 last time at 6-5. It finished a good second. Jose's been white hot of late to start the Royal Palm meet, Sunshine meet, in general. And he had such a good Royal Palm meet. And Edgard Zayas. Take a look at this stat I pulled up. This is a wild one. We're starting to see Edgard Zayas, and of course he's Safi's go-to guy. He's spreading the wealth a little bit. And he's been riding a lot for Jose D'Angelo. How about this on the Tapeta? 9 for 23. That is 39%. So you team these two guys up, and potent connections, and certainly Courageous Copper will take a lot of money in the opener. We'll go to race number 2. Early pick 4 here. We're going 1.70 on the Tapeta. $35,000 maiden claimers. These are the 2-year-old fillies in here. We'll scratch the 1, My Blessing, and the 4, Hermosa Muser. We can take a look at the early pick 4 ticket as well. We'll go through it quickly. Same one, because I had that single in the opener, so we'll go 3 deep with the single in race number 3 of Eskimo Street. My best bet of the day, and then a 3x3. My long shots in race 5, I'll mention Into Touring, the 9 on top in there, but We'll get back to the initial leg here in race number 2. I'm going to lead it off with Fumblerooski, and I want to show you why. Because I thought this horse had definitely a compromised trip last time, running against My Blessing. Fumblerooski's down on the inside. My Blessing's getting clear on the outside, and of course she's out of here. But I thought Fumblerooski, we're going up here now. You see this aggressive middle move, and she kind of just is going to end up having to stop. And, you know, Mike, these are $35,000 maiden claimers. They don't have, you know, the gears to kind of get shut off a little bit. She's going to drop back right here and then have to come again. You know, was she going to win? I don't think so, but she would have been a lot closer. And I felt this was a pretty watered-down field in here, so I'm going to put her on top. But you've got my second place, the dropper, Goats on a Tree.
Yeah, I kind of like horses dropping out of maiden
Sure.
special into this particular category. And Goats on the Tree, you know, like my selection in the first race, was meeting better in New York. It was just totally overmatched. Had trouble in both starts. It's your Jose D'Angelo and Edgar Zayas combination. Beat 7 out of 20 rivals in New York at the maiden special weight level despite trouble. So I just thought this horse fits here. The distance is a bit of a question. The Tapeta, obviously, a bit of a question. But I just took the turf edge here. Look, he was only beaten 5.5, or she was only beaten 5.5 lengths by Galabrand and Hidden Class, the top 2 finish. They both come back and won their next starts with Byers of 71 and 73.
Yeah.
So, again, not meeting that caliber in here. So I took the logical one in this race, but I could see off that trouble trip that, and with experience around 2 turns, Fumblerooski being a good play to counter if you don't want to take the chalk.
Yeah, because she's going to be a short price. Hopefully she's a little closer, stretching out now. Blinkers come off, but she hasn't shown any speed in 2 starts, so hopefully she's in the mix a little earlier on. She is clearly the one to beat off those 2 NYRA races for sure. Race number 3, we go a mile and 16th on the Tapeta. 12.5 maiden claimers in here. These are fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. You go to the 3, Tashima, Safi, and Ken Ramsey. Edgard could win the first 3 on the card easily.
Yeah, you know, when trainers drop horses like this, they claim them for $30,000, and then they've been off for a while, and then they drop down precipitously. It's a big question mark. I get a little nervous. But when it's Safi doing it for Ken Ramsey, it's a little bit different story. They have a lot of success doing this. Ken Ramsey just wants to win races. Safi just wants to win races. It's one reason why his percentage is so high. He puts horses where they can win. And I think this filly is in a good spot where she can win. Obviously, still a little bit of a question, but you look back, the last work was a 47-4. Not the bullet, but pretty close to a third of 47 that day. So it was a decent work. It just indicates that the horse is probably okay physically, and just this is where she belongs. So I took her over your pick, Esquimalt Street, and I agree with you. The inside draw today ran a big race from post 10, got hung wide all the way around. Ran well, has experience around 2 turns, lots to like about her. I think it's going to be one of these 2 for sure.
Yeah, let's show you why I picked her, and she is my best bet of the day. This was just a horrific run around the first turn. She's the 10 horse here, so not only is she all the way outside, but today she's all the way inside, so we can save every bit of ground here, and she's going to go wide, wider, and widest around the first turn. She really wasn't beaten all that much anyway, 3 3/4 lengths, but watch her just get floated around here, and the ground loss is so significant. I mean, she is about 8 deep here around the turn. It doesn't get a whole heck of a lot better from there. And then I look back at the race 2 back when she just missed it by 3/4 length. Now we're inside. I think she's in a good spot here for sure. But, you know, you mentioned Tashima, and we're talking about 12.5 maiden claimers. That is a big-time move there up at Palm Meadows.
Yeah, I mean, she's definitely the one to beat in here. And again, it's just because of the connections and their history with these kind of drops. I don't want the price. I'm not going to play her. I just thought she was the most logical one in here. We saw them win yesterday, the same combination at 6-5 with a horse that was dropping down and ran off the screen at the end. And I'm just looking for the same thing today.
And I think you said it perfectly. Ken Ramsey just likes getting to the winner's circle. Race number 4 is a good one. It's a starter optional claimer. These are 3-year-olds and up. We go 6 furlongs on a fast main track here today. A good field of 7 in here. We're both trying to get Gangley back to his best, and I think if we can get it, he's a huge threat in here.
Yeah, I mean, look, the horse is fresh. He's dropping. He's run plenty of races that could beat this field. He's got to beat the distractor. He came within 3 lengths of him, ran second to him with the bug boy on him. That was a long time ago. I mean, we're talking over a year ago. But Distractor's been away a long time now. This horse has been away too, but a steady string of works. And we know Peter Walder can have one ready off the bench. The post position's good. He's just going to need a little help with the favorite on the front end. I mean, if Distracted gets loose, he's probably going to be long gone. You know, the problem with Distractor is here's a horse that was in unbelievably super form last December,
Right.
and then they put him away. So and put him away for a long time. So it obviously indicates he had some kind of an issue. He comes back now. He's working terrific. That last gate work was, a bullet work out of the gate here, 48. That's a very good move. And another Safi obviously going to have him ready off the bench too. Strictly to one to beat. One's going to be 3 to 5. The other one's going to be a little bit better price. So I just went for the value just like you did.
5 starts in a row, the Distractor has been odds on. Now, Mike mentioned we haven't seen him since December 11th. Let's take a look at a stat here for Safi off this kind of long layoff in dirt sprints, and it's certainly no chink in the armor because he's 29%, 6 for 21. Not a huge sample, but, this is a leading trainer just showing you this is not an issue either. He's not in for a tag. We don't have to worry about anything like that. And as Mike said, the work's certainly whisper ready. He'll be tough in here, but just maybe Gangley catches him at the right time. Go to race number 5. We'll take one more before the break here. Rainbow Six. 6 race today on the 11 race card, and this is 5.5 on the Tapeta. These are fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, which have never won 2. The tag is 10 down to 8. Mike, you're going to start it with Val's Gal for Aubrey Mirage.
Yeah, I mean, this is a tepid pick for me here. One thing about the race, there looks like there's a lot of pace. This horse appears capable of maybe sitting off and picking up some pieces. I like the fact that he's back in the Marat barn after being claimed away, and now I'm guessing it was a private purchase to get her back. So they know the horse. The last work wasn't bad. 102 and change, going 5/8 here to get her fit for this one. And I'm just hoping the speed backs up to her. And again, I think she'll be a little bit of a value in here as well. She's Spiteful, probably going to be the big favorite. Reclaimed by D'Angelo. 2 back, now dropping below the level of that claim. Again, the barn, is on a roll right now.
Yep.
This horse is going to be a short price. I just tried to, try to pick against the favorite in this one. But if she's Spiteful delivers at a short price, it won't surprise me or anybody else.
And Jose's another guy a lot like Safi. He puts them where they belong. He claims for 20. She's in for 12.5. If she gets claimed and they win, they're pretty much out. But
when you have 200 horses in your barn, you can do that. You can do that. You can lose horses as long as if you win and they get claimed. Between the person and the claiming price, you're going to get your money back anyway, and you move on and fill that stall. Maybe with a little better horse.
And, well, that's the other thing. Usually there's another one a little bit better to take over. Bruno Schickendas, another guy that loves winning races. You see the silks all over the place. So I think she's Spiteful. Be a very short number. I'm doing what you're doing, though. I'm not sold on this horse. I don't like the fact she's in from 40 to 12.5. My long shot is into Touring for Pete Walder. Blinkers go on. Edwin Gonzalez is here as well. And I think this is a horse that has prior back sprint form. Mike mentioned a lot of speed in here and just a different face, against a favorite that might be a little vulnerable. Take a break here on Gulfstream today. 5 down. When we come back, 6 of them for you. The Rainbow Six, $125,000 in the gross jackpot guarantee.
And they're off.
My Racehorse has opened up a door for people that felt like that door would have never been opened for them.
We can all be owners and we can all get that excitement.
You can meet your horse through the different experiences and all of the events that My Racehorse puts together. You get that hands-on connection.
Whether you have $50 or $500, everyone that joins My Racehorse gets that experience of a lifetime.
I love My Racehorse. Let's go.
Welcome back to Gulfstream today. Brian Nadeau, Mike Welsh joining us here after summer in Saratoga. Good to see Mike back here. And we start race 6. It's the feature of the day, too. It's the Jackson Bend, and it kicks off the Rainbow Six. We'll take a look at the ticket now. $125,000 in the gross jackpot guarantee. It'll be comfortably well past that. And a couple here. We'll get to it in a second. In race number 7, top pick is the 7, Lace Up. Dave Fox got a couple in there. Race number 8, top pick is the 6, Lucky Peridot. Race number 9, the 7. I do scratch into Cartana, who is Mike's best bet of the day. Race 10, the 7, Rod to Rod, a little bit of an upset chance. And then in race number 11, to me, we'll talk about it in a bit, Unprecedented will be a huge favorite in there, I would assume, if not Run to the Hills. But there's the single in there, 43-20 for me. The playbook, Rainbow Six ticket. Jackson Bend is a good one. We do scratch out at the 4, Big Daddy Dave. And I guess the question is, and there's the answer, neither of us are trying to beat Big and Classy, who Bobby DeBona and just keeps on keeping on.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to go against him. The horse is in such good form. Got beat last time, but maybe a mile, a touch beyond what he wants to do best. Although, talking to Bobby, he thinks he will go a mile, and he's actually using this as a prep for a race, his next start, a Florida bred race that is at a mile. But, look, he beat the same bunch pretty easily.
Why don't we show it, guys, while Mike's talking? We'll bring it up. Go ahead.
Sure.
Yeah.
He beat the same bunch 2 back and didn't even get a great start that day and had a wide trip. He doesn't really pick up any weight, so that's not a problem. His last work wasn't anything super, but it was workmanlike and just got him from where he needed to be in his last start to this start here. It's really hard to side against him. I was tempted to go with Starship Renegade, but then I saw his last work, and I wasn't crazy about it. He's off a layoff. He was in great form. Another one, he was no match for Big and Classy and the Red Hot Dean Delivers in the Smile Sprint. They put him away for a little bit, came back. He does have a steady string of works, but I just wasn't crazy about that last one. So I have to go with Big and Classy. Warrior's Pride's going to set the pace, going to take him as far as he goes, but I'm skeptical he can get him 7/8. But he's just going to set it up for these 2 closes, I think, Big and Classy and Starship Renegade.
Yeah, there's a lot of speed in here. Cajun Magic down on the inside. Zydeco's got speed. Avant Glory's not letting anybody
There's
get away.
no speed like Warrior's Pride speed
Warrior's
coming
Pride.
out of those 5/8 races, though.
So they're going to be going hard. I agree with Mike. Starship Renegade got beat up a little bit by Big and Classy when they met Dean Delivers. That was his first start against really good horses.
Real horses. Yeah.
And I thought he was fine. And I think he can benefit off that. He's actually fresh while Big and Classy has just kept on going. I do think he'll bridge the gap. Is it enough to get to Big and Classy? That probably remains to be seen. But he still has plenty of upside. Steve Dwoskin's done a really, really good job with him. 9 lifetime starts. So late pick 5 in race number 7. These are the 2-year-olds here. We'll go 6 furlongs on a fast main track. Scratch out the 9 Red Roadster. We'll take a look at my ticket quickly here as it kicks off the late pick 5. $54, a little bit bigger on the 50-cent base here. And again, it ends with a horse that I have to believe is going to be a monster favorite in the finale, and Unprecedented, $54 there. Let's talk about race 7, Mike, because the majority, there are several first-time starters in here, and that can be a little tricky. You go to the 2, Salvatore Prince, one of those first-time starters for Jose D'Angelo.
Yeah, I thought it was a race that called for a first-time starter.
Yeah.
And just the success the Barnes had, and just looking at some of the works, they paid $130,000 for the horse. He reaches out to Edgard here too. That 47-1 kind of stands out.
Right.
He just kind of backed off him. It looks like a little bit after that. He showed the speed he needed to show that day. Cadron Settlement also. This one's a home bred by the Big Beast. Last 2 works are his best works. His last work was okay. It wasn't anything special. But just considering the barns these 2 are coming out of and the opposition and the way the race sets up, I thought one of these 2 would win. Of the horses that had run, I thought Kinsman Redeemer might be a little bit of a sleeper. Showed speed first time out after getting bumped at the break. Now he has a race under his belt. If he could break clean and run away on the inside, maybe he gets Brave at a big price.
Yeah, I mean, to pick up what Mike's kind of putting down, the horses that we've seen in the afternoon just haven't really been that much. Saint No More is starting to become a 3 seconds and a fourth, and I would assume the 2 goes favored in here. He's just very uninspiring. Lionel sticks around. I think comes back, I should say. That is a positive. I went with Lace Up, and Mike mentioned Dave Fox has got a couple of homebreds for the Leblongs. Let's take a look at its stat as well, because this is a 7 Lace Up and the 4 Cadron Settlement. And, not a huge sample, but 4 for 15, 27% with a big ROI. First-time starters and sprints here at Gulfstream over the past year. I like the post a little better. I know Luca's kind of somewhat of a go-to rider, but both of these horses, have license to be okay. And
if memory serves me, these 2 worked out of the gate together the last week, and Cadron Settlement was way in front of Lace Up. Doesn't always mean that the same thing will happen on race day, but I believe these 2 were in that same set, and he was the better of the pair that day.
Both
day.
of them are out of dams that won their debuts too. They were the only races they won, but both horses, their dams won their debut. This is a tote board race. Check it out because you want to see these kind of horses live and taking money. And the Salvatore Prince, none more so than that.
Yeah,
one.
I think he'll be the favorite.
Yeah,
for sure.
without a doubt. Yeah, it's tough to come back to Bet Saint No More again after he's really hasn't come close to winning in 4 starts. Late pick 4 time in race number 8, and we'll go 1 mile and 16th on the Tapeta here. These are fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. This is a good group. Let's just run the replay, guys, because the gang's kind of all here. Starship Agenda, Lucky Peridot, and Demogorgon were all chasing subsequent stakes winner Time Passage, and this is kind of the old race within the race. Time Passage is on the lead here, and she's going to wire like she did in the stakes. I thought the horses chasing set it up a little bit for Starship Agenda, and I'm not going to take anything away from her because she did beat these 2 horses comfortably, but you look at Lucky Peridot and you look at Demogorgon, they got caught chasing while Starship Agenda took advantage of it. Excuse me. Other than Hi Hello, How Are You? There's no speed in the race today. I think that's going to keep this group a little closer on, Mike, and maybe Starship Agenda's got to work a little harder from off the pace.
Well, that's what concerns me.
Yes.
I thought this was a terrific race. It was the best race of his career. Steve Dwoskin gave him 5 weeks off to recuperate from it, although in the morning he's still out there doing his thing every week with a couple of works on the Tapeta to bridge the gap between that start and this one. Someone out of this race should win. I mean,
Yes.
Time Passage came back off of that race and won an overnight handicap with a career best 89 Buyers. So he was going to be tough to beat no matter what, and they're just better than these horses. But again, I thought Starship Agenda looks like a horse is getting better and better, and she's sitting on a winning effort. But the pace scenario always a big factor, and you are looking at a short price in here. So I took Hi Hello, How Are You as my second pick, only because she looks like the horse that may benefit from the lack of speed, may benefit from the most in there. The one time she did get loose on the lead, she ran a career best 72 Buyer.
Right.
I look for her to get loose on the lead in here. We'll see if she's good enough.
Yeah, she should be controlling things early, and I think the last thing that Mike said is the important one. Is she good enough? Because that race that she won, it's not scaring anybody in here, but she might be a little more mature now. Jose took her up to Saratoga, over to Monmouth on the way back down, so we'll see what we get. I just thought Lucky Peridot, maybe she's going to be close. I don't think she's going to let Hi Hello, How Are You get too far away from her. Maybe she can get first run, and I felt like she ran a little bit better than maybe it looked last time. We'll see if she can bridge the gap to what will be, like Mike said, a very, very strong favorite in here. Back at 1 mile and a 16th on the Tapeta in race number 9. It's an optional claimer for 3-year-olds and up. We do scratch out the 4, Space Runner. That was my top pick, so I scratch into the 7, Cartano. You did not because he's your best bet of the day.
Yeah, and again, my concern is the pace. There's not a lot of pace in here, and this horse needs some pace. It would seem for his best effort, although this horse did win a 16 claimer for Saffie Joseph, stalking, racing close up.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see if Leonel Reyes kind of puts this horse into the race a little earlier. He is coming off a super effort, I thought, last time behind Valcanica, trapped extremely wide into the stretch, lost a ton of ground, still came on and ran in second. Valcanic really flattered this race, coming back at his next to win a 62.5 optional allowance. I think we run off the screen, if I remember correctly, win by 7 or 8 lanes. So Cartano obviously sitting on a winning effort. I mean, certainly his form says it all. I mean, he just runs a good race every time out there, just about. So my big worry, again, would be the lack of pace. I hope Leonel gets a little aggressive with him early and puts him into this race. I know Leonel's been in a bit of a slump at this meet, came out of here a little slow, but he's too good a rider to worry about that. But I just hope he's listening and has his horse close up early.
Yeah, Volcanic is now 4 for 5 on the Tapeta for Team Cassie, and it's just kind of completely resurrected his career. And it's no disgrace. That was a really good effort last time by Cartano. If he throws that race back out there again, he's going to be really tough to beat. Cashier Check certainly in the mix as well, and he wasn't that far behind Cartano, but he's got a little bit of a gap to bridge in there. Stride is interesting because Saffie bumps him up now off a 20 win last time, and he doesn't want to risk him for a tag.
Yeah, and I think he'll be close up, too, from that inside post. I think Edgard's going to size up
Yeah.
the pace situation in here real quick, and if he can break, I think you'll see him up close too. That's why I made him my second choice.
Yeah, I agree with you. He's interesting now, and a confident move by a trainer that, you know, like Mike said earlier, and I agree with, runs horses where they compete, and that says maybe take another look here. Race 10, the late double, 11 race Saturday card. Another optional claimer here, 6.5 on a fast main track, a field of 8 in here. You're going to give Local Barrio another chance. Boy, he likes to burn a lot of money.
He does, but look who he's burnt
Yep.
it behind. He comes off a race against Nautical Star, whose previous race was in the Florida Derby, obviously was misplaced there, but the barn bought him privately. They thought this horse had a big future. They made a mistake, ran him in the Florida Derby, gave him a lot of time off, bounced back with a big race.
He was good in
here.
his comeback, yeah.
He was very good in his comeback, and today he finds himself in the Gallant Bob. This horse got beat 2 3/4 lengths by him that day, but the race before that, he got beat by Big Data. Big Data, all he did was come back off that race and win a $200,000 stake at Louisiana Downs with a 91 Buyers. So I'm going with the company capped. I'm going by the fact that this horse remains in good form. I just think he's caught a little lesser bunch today, and he's going to get back on the winning track. I know he's burned a lot of chalk. Not my favorite kind of a play,
Right.
but just everything being equal, I just think he's ready to get back into the winner's circle.
And Big Data's up at Churchill today for our buddy Mike Lerman, so good luck with him and the Harrods Creek, I believe. Really good job by Mike. He won the Super Derby. So I went to Rod. I picked him a couple weeks ago when he scratched out. I feel like he's an interesting, fresh new face for Amador Sanchez, who does good with these kinds of horses. Clearly, Local Barrio is the horse to beat, but I found him a little bit interesting. Gets a little an extra half furlong to work with, which I don't think is going to hurt him at all. And he's got races. He's got to improve a little bit. And I know it's tough to do off Jorge Delgado, but this is a barn that can get improvement out of horses.
You're looking for a sleeper. I threw in Pure Spite. I like that work on the Tapeta last time for Bob Hess, and just maybe that little run over the synthetic surface, now going back to the main track, will have him primed for a big effort. So I'm throwing him in at a big price. Maybe not to win, but perhaps grab a share.
It looks like Bobby went back in and bought this horse.
Yeah.
'Cause he had him, and he
that's
didn't
true.
claim this horse.
That's
so
true.
That's kind of interesting as well. Into the finale, race number 11 to end things on the card. 5.5 on the Tapeta. 3-year-olds are 4 and up, which have never won 3 races. We scratch out the 5. The North remembers in here, and you go to Barone Sesco for Danny Hertog.
Yeah, and again, I know the horse you like, Unprecedented. I just didn't know what to do with him
Right.
off of those 2 poor races. I know he's coming back here now to the track he loves the best, and I just figure he's going to be a short price. I'm going to go against him. See the 15-1 morning line, that will not happen. But if Unprecedented wires his field at 2-1 or whatever, it certainly, or less, it doesn't surprise me. I like Baron Sesco, though. I like the post position. I like he fits this condition well with the non-winners of a race since March 23rd. He's a little further back than that. But he's got some races on his form that would make him very, very tough in here. They reach out. They reunite him with Edgar Zayas, who rode this horse to a second-place finish with a 78 Buyer, a career-best Buyer not too long ago. And I just think he's going to sit the trip out there. If Unprecedented runs off and gets away from him at a short price, so be it. But if he doesn't, if he stubs his toe a little bit, I like Baron Sesco, second, third choice in here to maybe pick up the pieces.
Yeah, Unprecedented is 3 for 3 on the Tapeta. He would win by 6 lengths if he runs back to those races. He's running 4s and 5s on the Thoroughgraph. He looks about 6 to 5 in here for me. I don't know what the 15 is all about. Now, those races were over a year ago. I understand that. It's a trainer switch, not an owner switch. So I don't know Frank Russo, who we know well and is down here every year. He's not down here yet. He's still at Meadowlands. We're going to send this horse to Bobby DeBona. We know how high percentage Bobby is. Hector Diaz, who rides for Frank up there in New Jersey. So we get a Jersey rider here, and he's 3 for 6 riding down here for Bobby.
He worked him out of the gate here the other day, too, and he didn't let him show his speed. They took a hold of him, just kind of got him around there in 49 and change. I thought that was good the way he did that. But it still leaves a little question in your mind, like where he's at with this horse.
No, that's fair.
Again, if he jumps out of there and wins off the screen at a short price, it wouldn't surprise me in the least.
Well, the thing I like, too, is this horse worked a bullet in 35 and 3 at Monmouth before coming down here. And so that says to me he's still got some gas in the tank. And, are they giving him away? I don't know. But maybe just at the end of the day, he's a 12-5 claimer. But like I said, he looks about 6 or 7 to 5 in here. To me, certainly Straight Shot will be pressing or going early, and he's in form as well. But they're all looking up at unprecedented.
If this was New York, there'd be 22 claims in form.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure it's going to happen here. It'd be
Yeah.
interesting to see if anybody reaches in and takes a chance with this
Yeah.
horse. I'm sure somebody will, and there's a couple of suspects I have in mind who are going to take a shot that this horse is going to be good enough to stay down here and take advantage of the Tapeta the rest of the season.
I mean, the 3 Tapeta races that he's run are just absolutely off the charts against a group like this, and then you give him a look out there and see. And I would be very worried if unprecedented is
not
4 to
8 to 5 or
1. Yeah, I
whatever,
would be
yeah.
very, very worried about that. then I would say maybe we take a step back here. But like I said, he's supposed to be 6 or 7 to 5 in here. We'll take a look at the lightning round before we wrap things up. A lot going on though. This is a fun one too. We'll go back to yesterday. First and foremost, we saw our Harper Rose run off the screen in the mud on her debut. Got a little sick, missed the Sire Stakes, missed 3 days of training. I'd hate to see what she had done if she didn't, because this was the tour de force again. Mike, she is fast.
Yeah, she's fast, and she looks like she's got a lot of class to her, too. We'll see. She'll be about the 2 to 5, I think, in the Susan's Girl when she comes back in her next start. Interesting, the horse that finished second, Star Satin, was actually the workmate of Big and Classy a week or so ago and held her own. I mean, Big and Classy beat her, but I thought she'd run a big race in here coming off of that work, and she ran a good race. She ran a winning race. He just caught a killer, but I can't wait to see this filly back in the next leg of the Stallion Series.
The interesting thing is she was in the stakes yesterday, and Bobby DeBone elected to run her yesterday, and
I was a little surprised.
Well. Yeah.
I thought he'd scratch out of there because he was catching the Harper Rose horse and leave her in Sunday stake, which might actually turn out to be a bit easier.
As Mike said, we'll find out, or hinted at, I think, we'll find out a lot more about our Harper Rose if she goes 7 in the Sire Stakes, because, now we're stretching out. Precociousness wears off. She is freaky fast and very, very talented. My best bet today is in race number 3, and that is Eskimo Street. You've got Cartano, right, a little bit later on?
I made Cartano best bet, yeah. It was kind of a default best bet. I didn't really love anything on the card today, and they put a gun to my head and make me make a best bet, so I made it him.
Long shot for me is in race number 5 into touring at 12 to 1. The stakes tomorrow is the Hollandale Beach. Hepburn is back for the folks at Arundel, and she was good last time. And it's a good race tomorrow. Very competitive group, trying to kind of figure out where they're going and what they're doing. And here she is last time, gutting it out. She got it done. Not overwhelming, but she got it done.
Yeah, and Brian Cohen, the stable manager for his father's Arundel Farm there, he thinks this horse is going to get better the further she goes. Now, stablemate Kiss is in there. Kiss has already stakes placed. She's got more experience. They worked together last week. I thought Kiss may be even a little better of the two in that work, but I think one of these two are going to come out on top. They're going to be the 2 favorites with Bobby DeBone opting to scratch out of there. And we'll see how it works out.
And quickly, PA Derby Day up at Parks, and we've got a lot of our horses up there. None more so than your Miracolo, who won the prep, the Smarty Jones for Antonio Sano. He was all over the place this day, but he did run very, very well. And this is a grade 1 and a big purse today.
I got to give Antonio Sano credit. It was very tempting to stay at Saratoga and run in the Travers, and that seemed to be his kind of modus operandi. Just take a shot in those big races, and every now and then you win or you get a good piece of them. Instead, he opted for the easier spot, and not only did he win easily, he did it with a few harrowing moments down the last eighth of a mile. He did it despite drifting out to the middle of the track. This horse is obviously a little better than maybe either of us thought he was, and he's going to have to get even better today. The same with West Coast Scout for
Safi.
For Safi.
Yep.
He's coming off some good races. He's working well, but even he admits he's going to need to run a lot better to be competitive. Now, it's a wet track there, so that's a factor that could play a big part in the race.
Well, we appreciate Mike stopping by. 11 of them for you, including a really good stakes. The Rainbow, 125. Pete's upstairs with the scratches and changes. Stay tuned.